I saw the physical abuse from the man, and I saw the verbal abuse from the woman. So the verbal abuse was being spewed at the man. And then, of course, the man would hit. That was his way of communicating, or that's what he was taught. But I saw all of it. I saw every form of it. I saw the psychological abuse, the control, the manipulation on both ends. And when I tell you, I became all of that. I became all of that, And I can honestly admit, when I went through my transformation in becoming a coach, and because a part of that is healing. And I went through, it was very painful for me because I had to see myself for who I was as a parent. I had to see myself as an emotionally abusive person, even towards my son when he was younger. I had to see that. I had to make myself aware of it so that I can change. So it's traumatizing, and it will last. The effects are very residual. They're residual effects. Just looking at, like you said, between wanting to retaliate and hurt somebody versus just wanting to move on and heal and be better. The gap between that is two things. One is accountability, and the other one is forgiveness. And accountability kind of goes along with forgiveness. But I say that to say this. For me, and every woman or man may not agree with my perspective, and that is fine. But for me, in order for me to heal from any experience, I must look at where am I accountable. So what do I mean by that? Daryl and I had some dialogue. And one of the things I was explaining to him, as an adult, men and women show us red flags. Red flags being those flags that let you know this is not a space that you need to be in. And women tend to think that we can change men. We think that we can help men. We think that we could do all these things to move him from this space of wanting to beat us. And I saw many, many red flags, and I chose to stay. I chose to be with this man who smacked me upside my head, who humiliated me. I chose to stay there because I did not value myself. Let's just call it for what it is. We have to get out of the space of victim. Yes, things are happening. We are experiencing things, but you're not a victim if you stay. Now, don't get me wrong. There are women who have been isolated so far away from their families. They've been isolated financially, and they have no escape. That does happen. However, for women who have jobs, who have access to their families, who know it's not right, we're staying because we don't value ourselves, because women have not been taught to value themselves. We've been taught to take care of everybody else. And so we're naturally dying on the inside while dying to stay in these relationships. Now, when you look at the other spectrum of that, do we want to retaliate or go into that space of just hurting somebody? That leads to forgiveness. The only time we want to wreak havoc on someone else is because we believe something is being done to us. We believe somebody's doing something to us, and so we're angry, and behind anger is pain, and so now we want to get them back. I'm not in the business of vengeance or revenge. Now, don't get me wrong. I was in that space. I was in that space where I wanted to murder everybody who wronged me. And instead of murdering them, I attempted suicide. It became about me hurting myself. It became about self-harm, right? So there's a whole lot of aspects that you have to look at that. But when we're looking at sex trafficking and how other girls are luring other girls in, that is a mental state of manipulation. That is a mental well-being that the younger girls want. It starts at home. If a young girl is watching her father beat the mom, I think that's my other line. Let me ignore it. 1 second. Okay, is that me? Oh, okay, I got it. That was my other phone. Okay, sorry about that. I'm sorry. So when we look at the whole sex trafficking, it's kind of interesting that you bring that up. I'm actually doing some studies on that particular topic right now, sex trafficking. Literally, I just wrote a paper on that. But looking at that, that doesn't start from some little girl just trying to trick another girl to come over there. She is brainwashed. She's just as brainwashed as we were in slavery. She's just as brainwashed as human beings, adult human beings are asleep today. She is just as brainwashed. And by her being a teenager, the brain does not physically speaking, the frontal lobe does not develop until you're around 25. So she does not even have the cognitive abilities to even try to move herself out that space. And adult men know that. People who manipulate and sex traffic young girls and young boys, they know that the brain is not in the space to be able to put up boundaries. They know the brain is not in the space to say, I'm going to tell. And if you do tell, there's a threat. These children are not doing things because they know what they're doing. They're being coerced into doing these things because the brain is not in the space. It's not in the capacity to understand or migrate through or move through. And that was me. I'm not just theory. I'm experience. I was confined to a room every single day for 3 years. That door was open. I was able to walk out that room, but I was too manipulated and too brainwashed to feel like I really had somewhere to go. So this isn't just theory. This is real life for me. I lived it.